Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. The fan is on, so let's see if it doesn't make that much noise. I'm saying it just in case you'll hear it. Today, it's been a bit since I have done like a review slash me talking about a show video here. It is because I haven't had the time to record. I'm saying something that so far I am like I want to make a video of it, but today we have one finally, and it is actually something that I watched a little bit ago and I made notes and I just haven't been able to record it, so today is the day that is going to happen. And I'm talking about Sweet Home Season 2. If you don't know, a while back I made a video about Sweet Home Season 1. I don't remember exactly when, but I did make a video of it. I said that I thought this was going to have another season, and then a while later, sometime after that, they announced they were going to do a season 2 and season 3. Last year they released season 2, and then season 3 is coming this year. So I am late to this because I think season 3 is still going to come out very soon. If you all have seen season 1, or if you have seen the video that I made about it, I absolutely love this series, so I was very excited when they announced 2 more seasons for this. This season 2 has 8 episodes and they are over an hour. I feel like last season there were some short episodes, but this one is just, all of them are over an hour, and I can see why that needed to happen, but we'll be talking about that while we talk about what happens. We are going to start from the very beginning, how this all started. We meet Dr. Lim. He is a new character and he is doing an experiment on a monster. We can see the monster behind him. He's talking to the Prime Minister of the Ransom Emergency Management Bureau. I think that's how you say it. That's the whole title. This person, I don't think they ever say a name. They just say who it is and done. But Dr. Lim is kind of talking about the theory that he has about why this is always happening, and he's basically saying that humankind is or has become a virus to Earth, and this monster stuff that is happening is the vaccine that the Earth created to wipe out humankind. Then we see Hyun-soo and Sang-wook slash Hui-myung. If you remember, Hui-myung is a monster, a special infectee, and he can get into people's bodies. Like, he becomes this jello thing and he can get into a person's body and have control of the body. And in season 1, at the end we realized that Sang-wook is now Hui-myung, and they're being chased by the military, which is where season 1 was left off. And Ji-kyun, which is the firefighter, appear and is kind of helping them in a way. We then go to the survivors from season 1, which wasn't that many, and they're now in a tunnel. They're supposed to be going to the safe camp, and they get into this tunnel and there's some military people there and stuff, and some monster appears there. The monster is the mom, and there's another monster that is the baby, and in a way you can kind of see it as her protecting the baby, but of course nobody sees it that way. They just think this monster is attacking them for no reason. But yeah, the military people are they just end up killing both monsters, the mom and the baby. And then Eunju, she wants to go back to the apartment because of the brother that died. She ends up getting a gun and making Chan Young, which is another new character, together with another military guy that I really don't remember the name, it's not important. They'll get in, it's a truck essentially, and she makes them drive to the apartment. Ji-kyun is able to get to a military base, I think you could call it. She is trying to find her boyfriend, because in season 1 she discovered that the boyfriend had a lot to do with this. So she's there to kind of find her boyfriend. So we go back to Hyun-soo and Sang-wook. I'm just gonna say Sang-wook, and when I say Sang-wook, is Wee Myung included in it because it's gonna be confusing saying both names. But they're driving, and if you remember in season 1, Sang-wook did get very attached to a girl that died in the apartment, and basically while they're driving, Sang-wook is having visions of it, and he's trying to stop them. They can't. It's like, in a way, even though Wee Myung has control of the body, Sang-wook is still there, so it's giving him flashbacks of the girl, and they end up getting in an accident, and Sang-wook's body is very damaged, so Wee Myung is trying to get to another body to get out of Sang-wook's body and have control of another one, but that cannot happen. For some reason he cannot do it, so Hyun-soo ends up like dragging him from the tunnel, being like, you're gonna do what I want, and they end up getting where the military people are, and they start shooting them, and they get to the floor, and they're not dead, but they're able to capture them essentially. So again, Eunju decides to go back to the apartment, and she sees that Eun-hyuk, which is her brother, is not there. He is actually dead. We all get flashbacks of what happened, and I cried. Thank you. I cried when it happened. I cried again when they show us again when he died. But while their apartment, the monster that is one eyeball that we saw in season 1 appears again, and they're fighting it again. And also the one that the monster that doesn't see, that only has one ear, that just let themselves guide by hearing, is there still alive. They don't die. Yeah, the other military guy dies, thank God, because he was an asshole, and Shang-young survives. They're all able to get into the bus and drive away. We go back to Dr. Lim. Now he has Hyun-soo, and remember, Hyun-soo is a special infectee, and he has been wanting him for a while, which just Hyun-soo just gave himself to him, like, go ahead, do whatever you want with me, because again, Hyun-soo is like, if you can use me to protect other people, fine. And Dr. Lim started doing experiments of him. He puts another monster, and he pours blood on Hyun-soo, and then he gets a monster inside that is supposed to be attracted to blood, and they start fighting. But then somehow Hyun-soo is able to either show or see the memories of the other monster, and he realizes that the monster is just an old patient from the hospital, and he really didn't want to hurt anybody. He was very lost. He didn't know what was happening to him. They end up killing the other monster because it's like, okay, you're useless now. By Hyun-soo, of course, like, what the hell are you doing? He's fine. He's just lost. He's confused. He's not a bad monster. He just let himself guide from whatever he's feeling, but he doesn't want to do it. Everybody's in the bus. That while they were in the bus, one of them becomes a monster. What is it that he becomes? It's like there were a bunch of eyeballs in his body, in a way, and they end up killing him. They have to. And there is another girl, a little girl that was with them, that actually dies. They all now start walking to God knows where. At this point, I don't even know where they were going. Now, something weird that happens all of a sudden, and I thought about not putting this here, but it is important, and I'll try my best to explain it. Ji-kyun, again, she's in the military base, and she gets to where her boyfriend is. The boyfriend is the monster that we saw in the beginning that Dr. Lee is doing the experiments on. And she sees him, she starts crying, and then all of a sudden, literally was a click, she's pregnant. She's having pain, her belly swelling up. She's pregnant. How did I was so confused. The baby's like moving, trying to get out. She's in pain, so much pain that she ends up fainting right there. In this military base, it ends up getting destroyed. Essentially, the Prime Minister wanted Dr. Lim to retrieve a vaccine. The vaccine is not in the case. They start fighting. The Prime Minister becomes a monster. They end up killing him. Of course, Dr. Lim is not gonna give him the vaccine because he's like, this is the way Earth is cleaning humankind. You're not getting a vaccine. And then Sang-wook is in the military base, legit letting every single monster out of the cage. All the monsters that they have there making experiments, they're all out. They're all roaming around now in that base. And there's a fight that happens between Hyun-soo and Sang-wook. And Sang-wook is literally tormenting him. Legit being like, you think you can do this, you can't, you're useless, this is not how it's supposed to be, you're supposed to accept it, you're supposed to help me kill these humans so we can all rule this world, thing like that. And of course Hyun-soo doesn't want that, so Hyun-soo does become monster again, with the full wing and stuff that we saw in season 1 at the end. At some point, of course, he doesn't win against Sang-wook and he becomes full stone in front of him, and I think that's the first time that we see Hyun-soo full monster in a way. And like I said, he becomes rock, he cannot move or anything, so he just stays there. Military base is supposed to be where it is the safe place that people are going. What they end up doing is the government wanted to kill everybody that was there. Essentially, they were bringing everybody in so they could throw some missiles and kill all of them, so they will help Earth remove humankind. I don't even know, but they end up doing it. Jisoo, which is one of the survivors, does end up dying. The rest does survive. There is a person that gets them, the ones that she can, gets them out and brings them to another military service. And it is another place, it is underground, it is more secure than the first one. And in that bunch of people that this woman is bringing them to military service, people, Dr. Lim is there, Eunju, the other military people that we saw. It's a bunch of people that survived the whole bombing thing, and it's a way of being like, okay, we're gonna work together. You guys, the military people, give us protection. We are going to do all the dirty work underground. That's kind of the deal that they have. With Ji-kyun, she ends up having the baby in a frozen lake. I'm still very confused by it, but she does. The baby is a monster, full on, and she was about to kill it. And that's how it ends. Like, we don't see anything else after that. We are led to believe that she killed the baby. I'm guessing some time passed because Eunju has short hair. Everybody looks like they have been through hell at this point. So I'm guessing some time passed, and they're still underground working and stuff. The military people is up doing whatever military people do to protect them somehow. Not really, but yeah. From what I caught, the military people run that place and they own it. They don't have too much consideration of the survivors and the work that they do to be able to keep that base running. But again, the survivors can't even get out of there. If they can, at least to do work. Eunju is the one, she has no short hair like I said. She's the one that gets out because people there think that she killed a guy. A lot of people don't like her, so they kind of use her as an errand girl. It's like, I need this, this and this, and she goes out and gets it. But also, in a way, by her cutting out, she's also still trying to find Hyun-soo and her brother, because in her eyes she's like, if I haven't seen my brother's body dead, he's still alive somewhere. Especially episode 4, not too much happened. This episode is essentially telling you how everybody is after the time passed, so not too much happened. We do see what Andrew is doing, what she's going through, how the military people are having full control of themselves like that. The other thing that is kind of important that happened on this episode is a young girl that appears. Whatever thing she touches, like a person, she makes that person a monster. That's like, she is a monster and that's her power, I'm guessing. This person and Eunju does meet at some point, so that is like the other thing that happens, kind of important in episode 4. We keep going with the story a bit. So there is already tension between the survivors and the military people. Things are not working as well. It's like the whole thing is kind of crumbling apart, and you can kind of feel it. The survivors are getting more impatient, and the military people really don't know what to do anymore. There's a lot of fights happening that are not very important to mention, but there's fights happening a lot by this point. Dr. Lim again is underground, and Chanyang, which is the military guy that survived, he brings a guy that he found outside, he's still alive, that has weird marking on his arm that the young girl that we saw before did it to him. And when Dr. Lim starts analyzing him and this mark and stuff, he realizes it has to do with the monsters and it is a new kind, and he starts getting excited. He's like, oh my god, I can continue my work, I can use you, perfect. Chanyang and Eunju does talk. He's trying to understand the whole military thing, the whole monster thing, because in his eyes he believes what the military people have said, that these are monsters, they don't have feelings, they don't have anything, and they have to kill them. And Eunju is trying to tell him, no, not all monsters are like that. There's a reason behind it, and you're not thinking straight. And Eunju just tell him that she's trying to find a monster to save her, and that she thinks is her brother, because this whole time that she's outside, whenever something happens, something saves her, and she thinks is her brother. And then the young girl appears. They're technically outside, and the young girl appears again, and when she tells Eunju like, you can come with me, we can find them, man. Ji-kyun appears. She's alive. She appears, and she ends up pointing a gun to Eunju and be like, you are not getting out. You stay there. That girl is coming with me. Bye. And they go, and Eunju just starts following them. There is like another sort of filler episode. There's not that much that happens. We see the whole survivor / military people crumble again. They're fighting more and more. Ji-kyun, the little girl, Eunju follows them. We realize that the little girl is the one that Ji-kyun gave birth to when she was pregnant off of Zealand. And we see that whenever she touched people, they become a monster. They lived in a boat. That's another thing that we see. Another thing that happens is when Eunju and the little girl again see each other, the young girl pushes Eunju into a hole, like a very deep one, and Hyunsu appears flying and takes her out and saves her essentially. So the one that has been protecting her and following her, seeing how she's doing and saving her from everything that she goes through. It's not her brother, it's Hyunsu. We see exactly what happened with Ji-kyun when she got pregnant. She was going to kill the baby, but Hyunsu appears and she's like, you take care of the little girl because I can't do that. And then after some times, it's that Ji-kyun come back and starts protecting her daughter the best way that she can. It might not have been the greatest way, but her maternal it's there, and she's doing the best she can. It's just the daughter doesn't see it. But at this point, so many things were happening that I was very confused. I was like, what is happening? So let's finish this quickly and go through endish of stuff that happens. Dr. Lim just got out. He wants to find something outside that he needs, and with that we see a lot of monsters that appear. The military people are of course defending and killing them and all of that, but with that Dr. Lim realizes that it's not a coincidence that all of these monsters are in one place, and they'll come to the conclusion that they're protecting something. There is something that is happening, they're evolving, and these other monsters are protecting it, so it happens. So apparently there's a monster in this military base camp thingy. The military people go to the survivors and be like, we know there's something, we're protecting you guys. They end up cutting themselves because that's the way that they have been checking them. They cut themselves, and of course he heals your monster. If he doesn't, you're fine. And when they do it, the one that is in charge, before he heals, because he is a monster, we have been seeing little pieces here and there, the lights come out, so the cut was healing and nobody saw it except a woman that was at the front, that is the one that is in charge of the survivors. So she knows. The military people at Dr. Lim go back to the original base where Dr. Lim was doing the experiments, and that place is horrible. There's a bunch of eggs everywhere, and Dr. Lim is literally seeing them like they're a trophy, that he doesn't want them out. He's like, I want to take them all. And the military guy is like, what the fuck? No, they're staying here, we're going out. And the doctor is like, no. In a way, what they're saying is these eggs are monsters that are evolving, and they're going to come out stronger than before. To end this on the kind of last episode, some of the things that happened are Ji-kyun gets hurt. She's almost dying. They take her to a hospital. They try to help her. It doesn't happen. Hyun-soo takes the girl, her daughter, and the daughter touches her and makes her a monster as revenge. I'm guessing for everything that Ji-kyun made her go through. That's my only guess. And her monster, she's not fully monster. Half of her isn't, and the other half is, and she's all black in the other side, like fire. Again, she's a firefighter, so it makes sense. Hyun-soo gets rid of her. She's trying to run away. Hyun-soo is trying to stop her because at some point she told him, if something happens to me, you need to get rid of her. So she does. What he ends up doing is throwing her in the hole that we saw later on. And that's where she ends up. And of course Hyun-soo is struggling. He is having a hard time processing what he has to do. So he ends up fainting, and they take him to that hospital that way before. And when he wakes up, Eunju is in front of him, and his eyes are blue, and she quickly noticed. And that is his other persona, which we saw a lot in season 1. Whenever he had blue eyes, that was his other persona. So that is the monster talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm out, because Hyun-soo is still very hurt. He's still healing. He cannot process, so I'm out. Hi, how are you? Haven't seen each other in a while. And Eunju is like, shit, get away from me. But he's pretty chill. Again, he's very confident, and he's like, he needs me, so you cannot do anything. So it's not like you're gonna try and kill me, otherwise you're killing him. So he knows. And then at the end, at the very endish, the lab that we were before. How do I explain this part? It's very confusing. What happened in that lab after it got destroyed, in a way, is it wasn't destroyed. People stayed behind and they kept doing experiments. Sang-wook / Lee-myung especially stay there, and they started doing experiments until this new them started, and they were rebirthed again, is the way that they describe it. And they didn't have any symptoms. Usually when you become a monster you get symptoms like the bloody nose and stuff like that. They weren't any of that. They were fully human but a monster. We realized Wimyeon, person that we thought was Wimyeon, it was never Wimyeon. It's actually Sanwon, which is Jikyun's boyfriend. Okay. At that point I was like, what? What is happening? Now Sanwon is in Sangwook's body still, and it's real to all of that this time. It was him. Not Wimyeon, nothing. It was him. So that's how the lab part ends. Dr. Lim is there. Sanwon captured him because again, Sanwon was the person that Dr. Lim was doing experiments on, so in a way he's gonna get revenge for everything. And there's a bunch of monsters there that are evolving and that are getting stronger when they are back into life again after being eggs for God knows how long. So that's how the whole lab part ends. The end of everything is we see Eunhyuk, which is Eunju's brother, is alive. He comes back out of the egg. I'm guessing the egg that we saw when Eunju was in the apartment at the beginning. He's coming out of the egg and he's born again, and that's literally how it ends. It's like, here I am, hi, bye, and it ends, it cuts, it's done, and I'm here like, seriously? Like, I saw a picture of it and I thought, oh, people are just making pictures, or it has something to do with the first season that I didn't notice. And when I saw it I was like, oh, it is true, he's back, because he is a monster now. He's an evolution monster. So again, season 3 is actually coming this summer as far as I know. I don't know when exactly. I don't think they have said a full date of it, but it's coming this summer, and I feel like we can expect a lot of it. I'm guessing it's gonna be the conclusion to everything, and I really don't know how this is gonna end. Really. There is a few things that have been coming out about what we can expect and stuff, but again, you never know. I feel like this season is a lot more of explaining the things that couldn't be explained in season 1, or things that you needed to know before seeing season 3. So a lot of information is thrown at you for sure, but it's a good way to understand more of the story and how it goes. So in season 3 they don't have to do that much explanation, they just go ahead to the action and done. Well, I was looking for information about season 3 to see what was going to happen or anything, and they found an article that was talking about what is it called, all 8 Sweet Home season 3 reveals and story details from Netflix K-Drama Monday. So I thought we could go through it very quickly. I'm not gonna read everything. The first one that it says is Sweet Home season 3 maybe the show's last, which we already know. They only announced it as well that it was going to be 2 more seasons and done. So according to Netflix, Sweet Home director Lee Eun-book wants to deliver a grand finale with big reveals in the upcoming season, suggesting Sweet Home 3 will be the end of the show. Considering where season 2 left things off, it makes sense for season 3 to be the show's last. Most of the story material has already been covered, and season 2 felt like it was setting up the pieces that will be important in the show's finale. So again, what I said, season 2 is essentially explaining to you everything that you need to know, so when you go to season 3 you're not as confused as you were in season 1 after it ended. Jikyun is still alive in Sweet Home and will return in season 3. So Jikyun's face was left ambiguous in Sweet Home season 2. On one hand, Hyun-sung fought her and cried after defeating her, indicating the only way to stop her was by killing her. However, her body was never shown, and Jikyun now had monster powers anyway. The latest Sweet Home season 3 updates leave no doubt about what happens though. Jikyun survived and will return in season 3. The character is being described as half human and half monster, a perfect description considering only half of her body went through monsterization in season 2. It makes sense. Again, she's a monster, she cannot fly, but she's a firefighter and she's very strong, so it wouldn't surprise me that she survives and gets out of that hole climbing like nothing. I'm curious if it does happen, what her role will be in season 3. The other thing is Sweet Home's Eun-hyuk becomes a monster and wants inside a cocoon, which is what we saw at the end. Following up on Sweet Home season 2 massive cliffhanger, Netflix has now confirmed that Eun-hyuk has become a monster and has just come out of a cocoon when he appeared in the finale. The cocoon, which also appears in the webtoon, is one of the stages of the monsterization process, but not all special investees goes through it. As noted by Dr. Lim, the monsters in Sweet Home are evolving, and Eun-hyuk is an example of this. Although Eun-hyuk's return should be good news, something about the character seems off and might not be in control of his abilities. When you saw him at the end, his eyes were weird. It wasn't the same Eun-hyuk that we are used to on the other season, so there's definitely a change there. You know, I'm happy that he's back, but I'm a little scared because he's a monster. What type of monster he's gonna be, his way of thinking might have changed, so it's only a matter of time to see what exactly they're gonna do with that. Monster Hyunsoo will return in Sweet Home 3. Eun-hyuk's return is worrying, and so is the future of Hyunsoo. As indicated at the end of season 2, Monster Hyunsoo, which is the one with the blue eyes, is back into play and is currently the one in controlling things. Sweet Home's monster curse includes the creation of a monster altar formed by a person's worst fears and desires. No humans can control this better than other people who were infected, but even they can succumb to the monster's selves. As soon as I saw those blue eyes, I was like, this is going down. It's not gonna be good. Now, I don't know if the real Hyunsoo is going to come back, or if season 3 everything is gonna be with this monster Hyunsoo out. We will see. This also says that Eun-hyuk and Eun-ju will reunite in season 3. So the original Sweet Home trio formed by Hyunsoo, Eun-ju, and Eun-hyuk will get back together in season 3 after spending most of the second season hoping that her brother will be alive. Eun-ju will reunite with him. Well, Eun-ju will surely be very happy to see her brother again. The reunion could be more sinister than what she imagined. Eun-hyuk is now a monster, and he is as unpredictable as Hyunsoo. Hopefully the three characters will find a common ground and fight for the same goals. Worry about Eun-hyuk. He's a monster. His ideas could be different now, so it's like, what's going to happen? Women is running a major operation. Women, who is actually Sang-won using Sang-wook's body, is a rather complex storyline that has become a champion for neo-humans in the worst possible way. Women believes neo-humans are the next step of the world's evolution and wants to create a society ruled by them. To meet his goal, Women has been experimenting on humans, perhaps trying to replicate the curse to create more monsters. The first Sweet Home season 3 teaser sees Women walking alongside several people inside a facility, suggesting he is running a large operation. I haven't seen the teaser. I thought there wasn't any teaser still, so I haven't seen it. I'll find it and see what it is. Something told me that he's surviving that lab. It's really, I was like, he's not dead at all. So it doesn't surprise me that he's trying to do something, because he has always been like on the side of the monsters and trying to get rid of humans. So Andrew will be captured by Women. Women, who already captured Dr. Lim at the end of the previous season, will capture Andrew at some point in Sweet Home season 3. The villain, who never interacted with Eun-ju during season 2, is seen taking to her inside his facility during the teaser. Women ironically comments on how Eun-ju is a human, which shows that he no longer perceives himself as such. This could be when Eun-ju, Eun-hyuk, and Hyunsoo all get fancy suits. The trio might be forced to work for Women, or might choose to fight for the neo-humans. It wouldn't surprise me if she get caught. Doesn't mean that she's weak or anything, but so far everybody around her is a monster and she's still human, so it doesn't surprise me. It can also happen that she's already a monster and she hasn't shown it, so that also could be a thing. Them working for women, I don't see it unless it is a way to protect her. Also, it wouldn't surprise me if they die and she's the only one that survives. I really don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if she get captured. It feels like that needs to happen for all of them to work together. And then lastly, Sweet Home Season 3 will be about the Neo-Humans. The first official Sweet Home tourism Gnosis mentions that the show will now be set in a world where neo-humanity begins. Although humans who can control the monster's curse better than others is nothing new, Hyunsu was the first example of it in Season 1. The term neo-humans debuted in Season 2. This is how women describes people like him and Hyunsuk, as he does not believe the word infectivity does them justice. Sweet Home has been building up to a confrontation between humans and neo-humans for the fate of the world, and Hyunsuk is at the center of it. Hyunsuk will never choose to hurt his friends or even other humans in general, but he also wants to protect those who are like him. Hyunsuk does not want to see monsters and neo-humans getting hurt just because they're different, which is one of the reasons why he cares so much about Yi Kim's daughter and even helps raise her. Between his struggle to control his information and his wish to protect both humans and neo-humans, Hyunsuk will have to make some difficult decisions. Is Sweet Home Season 3? There is still a lot to cover on this series. A lot of this is explained, but still it's like what is happening, what exactly is going to happen, we still don't know. So Season 3 is gonna be like a good ending to everything. What the ending is going to be, who's going to survive, who isn't, is another story that we will have to wait for it. I'm excited for Season 3. I freaking love this series, so I'm excited for that one. I highly suggest you go ahead and watch it. It's very fun. There's a lot of things that happen, so it is very good. Again, I have made a video of the first season, so you can go ahead and watch that and make Season 2. So I'm excited to see that Season 3 and make the video about it and see how everything ends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing great, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. I really don't know when this one is going to be out really, but we will see when it happens.